Hey everyone, have you ever noticed how some people can tell you a story in like 30 seconds while someone else takes 5 minutes to say the exact same thing? Well, today, we're going to dive into the secret of simple language and figure out why a really deep understanding is the key to being crystal clear.
We've all been there, right? You're listening to a story that's just drowning in all these pointless details. It happens all the time. But you know the difference between a rambling storyteller and a clear one? It isn't just about their personality. It's about how their brain is actually processing the information before a single word even comes out.
Okay, let's look at this in action. On the left, you've got the rambling story. It's like this tangled, chaotic path. But on the right, the clear story is just a direct arrow straight to the point. The basic facts are the same, but the delivery is worlds apart. And that's all because of the mental work being done before the speaker even opens their mouth.
So, to really unpack this, here's our game plan. We'll start by looking at how clear thinkers talk. Then, we're going to explore why the real experts are often the simplest explainers. And finally, we'll get to the simple truth at the heart of it all.
All right, first up, how do these clear thinkers actually do it? I mean, it can feel like some kind of magic trick, but it's really a set of powerful mental skills at work behind the scenes.
Yeah, you can think of it like a mental assembly line. Clear communicators are instinctively doing three things in their head. They filter out all the junk. They organize the important stuff into a logical structure, and then they compress it down into its most essential form, kind of like turning a lump of carbon into a diamond.
And the engine that powers this whole operation is something psychologists call working memory. Just think of it like your brain's RAM. It's the mental scratch pad you use to juggle different ideas at the same time. The stronger your working memory is, the better you can filter, organize, and compress on the fly.
And this is what a strong working memory really does for you. It lets you hold a mental map of your story, so you don't get lost on all these little side streets. You control the sequence, you stay on track, and, this is a big one, you remember you're talking to another human being who needs the information to be clear.
So often, clear thinkers use this simple, unspoken structure: background, event, result. For example, yesterday at the office, that's the background, the elevator stopped for 3 minutes, that's the event, but everyone was fine, and that's the result. See? It's just a clean, logical flow that totally respects the listener's time. So, we've seen how clear thinkers do it, but now let's get into the why. Why is it that the people with the deepest knowledge are so often the ones who can explain things most simply? As we're about to see, this goes way beyond just a skill and really gets to the core of what it means to understand something. So you gotta ask, right, is this just a communication trick that anyone can learn, or does it point to something much, much deeper about how their minds work? The answer is, it's a sign of real mastery.
And a key concept here is something called chunking. This is basically the brain's superpower for dealing with complexity. It's this process of taking a whole bunch of scattered, tiny details and compressing them into one single powerful idea, or chunk.
Now, what's so cool about this slide is how it shows chunking in action. Someone with a shallow understanding sees this long, complicated sequence of events. But someone who truly gets it sees the pattern underneath and just says, oh, it's a chain reaction. They've managed to compress all that complexity into a single, elegant concept.
But here's the trap that a lot of experts fall into: the curse of knowledge. See, once you're an expert, your brain is just filled with all this jargon and complex models, and it becomes almost impossible to remember what it felt like to not know all of that stuff, which, ironically, can make you a terrible explainer.
The true masters, though, they consciously fight this curse. They strip out the jargon. They find powerful analogies in everyday life, and they only focus on the absolute essential variables. So instead of giving you a long lecture on market forces, they'll just say, look, when there's less of something and more people want it, the price goes up. They meet you where you are.
The legendary physicist Richard Feynman was famous for this. His whole thing, which people now call the Feynman technique, was that the ultimate test of your own knowledge is whether you can translate it into language so simple a child could get it. If you can't, it means your own understanding is probably incomplete.
And he was not alone. Albert Einstein said pretty much the exact same thing. This isn't just some nice communication tip, it's a fundamental principle of knowledge, shared by some of the greatest minds in history. True genius isn't about making things complicated, it's about making them simple.
And that brings us to our final section, the simple truth. Let's pull all these ideas together to see why the pursuit of simplicity is really the pursuit of mastery.
This slide right here really gets to the heart of it all.
A shallow understanding leads to a complex explanation. It's like someone handing you a tangled mess of yarn. But deep understanding, that transforms all that complexity into a simple, beautiful diamond. It takes true mastery to get to that level of clarity.
So let's just recap. When a communicator filters information, you, the listener, get a concise message. When they structure their thoughts, you get an organized story. When they chunk all those complex details, you get a simple concept. And when they use analogies, you get a relatable idea that you can actually hold on to.
So, the crucial point here is this. We have to completely reframe how we think about simplicity. It isn't about dumbing things down or a lack of intelligence. No, it is the exact opposite. It's the final, beautiful, and most useful expression of deep knowledge and true mastery.
And that leaves us with a little challenge for you. What's one complex idea you know really well that you can try to explain simply today? Go ahead, give it a shot. The process might just show you how deeply you truly understand it yourself. Thanks for tuning in.